What's going on, everyone? It is March 3rd, 2024. I am the New World Order Survival Guy, and I have a topic today that's very important. It is the key to survival and prepping. Now, a lot of people out there got a misreputation of what survival and prepping is all about. It's actually not what you prep, it's how you prep. It is good to save food, it is good to save supplies, have tools, and things that will make your survival situations um, better and easier. But that's not the key elements of survival and prepping. So today I'm going to go over what those keys are. The number one keys of survival and prepping. Number one is willpower. You have to have the willpower to survive more than anything. It's not the items that you accumulate, it's the knowledge and the wisdom that you accumulate up here. There's a lot of elements that go into willpower. How is your mental state? Of course, none of us would know unless or when we're in that predicament. You want to fight for your life. You want to fight for your family. You get one life. And when that's gone, that's gone. So you might as well go out or live swinging to live as long as you can. And I'm not talking about violence. I'm just talking about self-reliance, self-preservation. You got to have hope. You got to have a will to live. You got to be smart. You don't just want to pick up a firearm and just start, slinging bullets. You don't want to do that. That'll do nothing but take you out. And once you get taken out for doing something stupid like that, who's there to protect your family? What's going to happen to them if you just go fighting? You want to stay low key. You want to stay under the radar. You want to stay gray man. One of the most important things is to have a plan of action. for every scenario. Talk with your family, talk with your friends, your groups, whatever you have. You talk with them. Make plans for every scenario. Plan A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever you got. If you're in an urban situation, like you're planning on staying in the metropolitan areas, for one, I don't recommend that at all. That's going to be hell bent there. That's where most of the action is going to happen from the opposition. I mean, that's where it's going to be attacked first. It's the biggest population. They're going to go after that first. And then they're going to slowly creep in into the suburbs and then out in the countrysides and so forth. Your biggest means of survival is in your head. You want to think the things through and execute plans accordingly. Like, there's people out there that think survival is who has the most food, who has the biggest generators, or, there's a lot of stuff on TV and a lot of other YouTubers that act like prepping is how much you have and stuff like that. Not many of them. There's some, but not many of them get into the true aspects of survival, the true aspects of prepping. The true aspect of prepping and survival is prepping yourself, physically and mentally. You cannot be sitting on a couch thinking, watching all these videos thinking you're going to, easily survive because you watch some stuff on the internet and think that you're going to make it because you watch all these, because you sit your ass on the couch and watch all this shit. That ain't going to work. What you got to do is get out there. Get out there wherever you're thinking you're planning on bugging out to, or, you got to practice. Because in a survival situation, you got to imagine it's going to be real stressful. Your brain's going to go a million miles an hour. You want to make it easy as possible. Ferro rods, ferro igniting devices and stuff is easier than primitive fire starting devices like using a bow or sticks, flint, rocks, whatever. You have to go out and test them out. You got to practice it. There's so many people that go out there and they fail. You got to practice water purification. Yeah, you get store-bought water purification, which is good, but what if those get damaged? What if you get tooken for that stuff? The ultimate key to survival is having knowledge of the most primitive skills as possible. That's literally getting into like bushcraft skills. Because when that food runs out, when your water storage runs out, or if you have all that stuff and you have to bounce out immediately, you can't take all that stuff. And that stuff is going to run out. You got to have knowledge of how to survive without it. Like I said, there's people that are into bushcraft and true survival that they don't need nothing. They don't need nothing. They know how to make shelter. They know how to clothe themselves or beat the freezing cold, beat the heat. Eat plants and use plants as medicinal. There's people that know how to do that. And they only know how to do that because they're trained. They train themselves or they take classes or whatever. But you want to be a true survivalist, a true prepper, you got to prep your mind and your body for the possibilities. You have to. Go take a camping trip with your family. Incorporate some of these practices within your camping trip. Do it as fun. Hey kids, let's get a fire, but let's try some of these techniques to create the fire. You know, gather tinder. Maybe try some of the most primitive skills first. Try using the sticks, try using the bow, something, and if it doesn't really, if you're having trouble with it or something like that, then use one of them magnesium sticks or, some other ways other than a lighter or matches. Try those. Incorporate them into your camping and you're still going to have fun, Maybe try some water filtration primitive skills. Because there might be a point in time that you're going to need those skills. I'd go out there and do that. And here's what it's coming to spring and summer. I'm going to go out and show you guys some of those, post them on video. Because I'm no expert. I've done a little bit of it. But I'm going to go out there and put stuff to the test and, I'm going to go ahead and try it and show you guys, and live and learn from that. So yeah, definitely practice skills. Another thing is staying conditioned, getting your body conditioned. You think you're going to get your ass off the couch and then sit there, go hike up, whatever, and you're going to battle through the mountains and the woods or whatever. Nah, your body's gonna give out on you. You're gonna get your blisters. You're gonna get cramps. You're gonna get winded, fatigue. You got to get out there and get active. Those of you that are in the cities, you got to think about what you're going to do, because cities ain't going to be the place to be when shit hits the fan. It ain't going to be the place to be, period. That's where they're bringing all these people from the borders, and they're starting their grounds in them type of places. And then each one of them metro areas are going to expand and branch out and start getting suburbs and everything else. You got to think about that stuff. You got to prepare for all scenarios. All scenarios. You know, you got to pre-plan any scenario with your friends and family. You know, if this happens, we do this plan. If this happens, we do this plan. So everybody automatically knows. Because it's kind of hard to make a plan when, you know, all of a sudden when you have all this other stuff on your mind. It's just like your family in the house. If there's a fire, you go out this way, you do this, you do that. If there's, teach your kids, if there's some weirdo on the street, pulls up in a van, and, you know, you mentally prepare your kids so they know what to do. Now, hopefully none of this stuff would ever happen. But, you know, you can bet your ass some of this is going to happen, and you're going to need one way or another to have these skills and stuff, because it is getting scary out there, and all kinds of crazy stuff is happening. Knowledge is king. Okay, knowledge is king. Must have willpower, or you ain't gonna make it. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel, because what's gonna be the alternative? What's the options when you just gassed it? You know, one thing you should not do is give yourself up to the gov. Don't go, to FEMA and stuff like that, because I'll tell you what, you're going to be in a whole worse situation there. You know, if any of you know anything about FEMA camps, or if you don't, I suggest you look it up. I wouldn't trust any of them organizations from the govs, because they are not in your best interest, period. Another thing, you must pretend to be a sheep. Be a sheep in disguise. Especially if you're in an urban environment and shit hits the fan, pretend like you're going with the flow, but you have a separate agenda. You're only pretending. You need to, obviously, you know, if you're in that situation and you want to stay because, well, your family's there and you can't get them out, just pretend like you're going with the flow, but you are definitely preparing and storing and doing everything you can to have an exit route for your situation, because there ain't nothing good gonna come out of an urban environment in the shit hits the fan scenario. Nothing. Um, so just never give up. Never give up. You want to live through this. I mean, think about how much stuff happened in the United States over the hundreds of years. Then people never gave up. They kept fighting. You fight, fight, fight. And I don't necessarily mean physical fight. You fight for your lives in any aspect. You know, don't listen to the mainstream media telling you, giving you directives or anything like that. Don't listen to them. I'm telling you, don't listen to them. You make your own decisions. Listen to your conscience of what is right. I know some of you, in your conscience, you think, oh, well, I just got to listen to what the media and the government tells me and stuff like that, and they're for my best interests. I feel sorry for you if that's what you think. I'm telling you, they are not good. Um, be aware of your surroundings. It is crucial to a survival situation that you're always watching your surroundings. Be mindful that people are going to be hungry. People are going to, they're bad people out there. People are starving. People are thirsty. They're going to do anything they can to help themselves out and take an easy target. Keep a low profile. Use the gray man method in the suburban and metro areas. You know, use the bum method and pretend like you're poor as hell and you ain't got nothing. But have your stashes in certain places for when you need them. Don't have them on you, because they're going to be circling through these neighborhoods and these metro areas, and they're going to have big gangs of people taking and robbing people. Don't have your stash on you. It's always good to separate your rations anyways. It's kind of stupid to fight these people unless absolute necessary. Because when you get gangs of people that go around pillaging and robbing people of their stuff in big groups, they're going to accumulate a lot of stuff. They're going to accumulate firearms, ammunition. They're going to accumulate all kinds of stuff and be empowered to go get more stuff from other people. And more people and more people are going to join their group, and they're going to get bigger and bigger, and they're going to be more of a force to be reckoned with. So think of all aspects in all them kind of scenarios and be ready, be prepared. That's why it's so important if to learn all these other primitive skills. It's because your food's gonna run out, or somebody's gonna jack your stuff, or something. You want to have skills to carry on. The will power to survive. You don't need anything if you have the right skills. Those skills have to be set in practice, like I was saying. That's what I'm saying. You need to get out of the city, or at least have. If you live in a city and it's not probable for you to get out and blah blah, I understand. I'm in the same boat, but I'm just a few miles from the Rocky Mountains, so Rocky Mountains my backyard. You want to go hiking, you want to explore, you want to say, okay, well, this area might be good and stuff. I'd get way out of city areas. I mean, don't just go, a few miles out of the city. You want to have places off the trail that you can look at and say, okay, we could do this right here. You want it to be, my opinion, quarter to half mile from a water source, because without water you ain't got, it's gonna be real hard. You want to have some kind of tree coverage. You want to be out in the desert, high desert, whatever. Because you got drones, you got aircraft, you got all this technology from above that's looking down for people. Just recognize what you're dealing with, what and who you're up against. Military ain't no joke. There's things that can track you down. You just need to be able to stay low key and stuff, and that's the last thing you have to worry about. Is because if you're in a desert, what are you gonna do? You need to go from your little rabbit hole, go use the restroom, go gather water, go something, and you're in the wide open. I mean, they have satellites, they have all kinds of stuff that can see you. They can send troops, they can send whatever to go check you out and take you in, take you out, whatever. You want to have some kind of coverage, from above, from a distance. And plus, that's where animals go. You know what I mean? You want to eat plants. You want to catch different animals and stuff. That's one of the big things you got to do for food sources and water sources is be by shrubbery and stuff like that. You got to do self-development. Self-development is a true way of prepping and survival. Educate yourself on edible plants, medicinal plants. You don't need to carry that stuff on you There's books and stuff, but if you gather that knowledge and you practice those things, then you're going to be a lot better off. Because when you have no access to food and that's the only resource that you have, 99% of people ain't going to know that. They're not going to think about weeds and stuff to eat. Practice that stuff. Practice trapping animals. Practice building shelters. And I don't mean pitching a tent. Practice primitive bushcraft skills. Take your tools, just go camping. Do it with the kids. You know, use these tools, use these little devices that you accumulated while you're on the couch watching all these survival and prepper shows. You know, that is key. Hike. Get accustomed to hiking. Get your ankles and legs and your cardio used to going out there and, you know, going out there and really putting your body to the test. You know, you start little at a time. You know, hey, I'm gonna go a couple miles, and I'm gonna do this, and that. Otherwise, you're gonna just be stranded. You're gonna be stranded, and you're gonna give up. You're gonna get hopeless, and hopelessness is failure. It's absolute failure. You're gonna give up on your family. You're gonna give up on your kids. Hell no, you ain't. You want to fight for your life. Just get your body conditioned for that stuff. You know, develop your skills. That's the only key true way of survival and prepping is to prep your body, prep your brain and your skills to accommodate that survival situation that you're in. You know, there's a lot of ways out there to treat wounds and stuff like that. Right in the wilderness, you just gotta. I mean, you could take a class. What I do is I got a bunch of books for this vicinity that tell me about the plants you can eat, the lookalikes that'll hurt you, medicinal plants. I mean, you know, for different things. You don't need a store bought water filter. You can learn how to make primitive water filters through different ways. For instance, like pebbles, charcoal, sand. You know, there's different ways of doing it. It's just basically what you have around you, um, and what's at your disposal for that. So that's just the key points I wanted to bring to you guys. Is it ain't what items you have, is what you have up here that's going to keep you going through these times in crisis, if it ever should come to that. Um, you really need to think about that and take it seriously. You know, as spring and summer approaches and stuff, I'll be doing all kinds of showing you guys a lot of this stuff for those who don't know. I'm sure some of you guys have done a lot of this stuff and probably a lot better than I am at this stuff. Like I said before, I'm no expert. I have no special training. I'm not a veteran. I'm just a guy that's been in this know-how, just trying to learn stuff as I go along. And I've been doing this for like 20 years, 25 years. So I just have a strong interest in this, and I'm just basically beginner, intermediate. I got a lot to learn. That's why I want to just, put this stuff on video when I do this stuff, so you can see from basically a beginner's standpoint of how hard or how easy certain things are. Yeah, that's basically it. Just test your equipment, test techniques, practice, learn, get out there and learn. That's going to be your best chance of survival. Don't give up. Your willpower to survive is your best equipment to have. Accumulate knowledge as much as you can. So that's basically it. I just want to add, later on in future shows, once I start progressing in the shows, I will be doing a bunch of giveaways on different equipment. So I'll be doing those once this show progresses. Yeah, so thanks for joining me. I'll be doing another show within the next couple of days. This is the New World Order Survival Guy, and see you on the next one.